Julie Ancient.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Green Party is supporting this SOP from the Labour Party, and as the two previous speakers very well explained, it is vital that we address the issue of foreign capital in our housing market. And it's very simple, Mr. Chair. The Green Party believes that every New Zealander should be able to live in a warm, healthy, safe, secure home, and they shouldn't have to spend more than 30 or 40% of their income to access that. That's a fundamental human right. That's good for our society. And if the government wants to achieve that outcome, they have to be realistic about the many various challenges that are impacting our housing market. And it is not realistic for the National Party to avoid this part of the debate and claim that anyone who raises the reality of foreign capital pouring fuel on the housing fire that is happening in Auckland, they're just denying reality. And it's a basic economic fact. I heard some of the members last night, like David Seymour and some of the government members, talking about housing markets and how they should work. And one of the key things that they didn't address is that housing is not a commodity. It's not like cars or bicycles or dishware or glasses or pens. It's not like that because real estate is fixed. And so if we have a lot of money coming in for a fixed amount of land, a number of houses, then of course it's going to increase the price of that, and it's going to make it harder for people to access housing. And the reality is that every home that's sold to an overseas investor is a home that a local family cannot buy. And we don't have a capital gains tax. We don't have warrant of fitness. We don't have really adequate renters protections. And so we've got these foreign speculators, and there's nothing wrong with being foreign. It's just, you know, they're not invested in New Zealand. They've got no requirement to look after their tenants, and they're able to make tax-free capital gains on the appreciation of property prices. And that's not good for New Zealand. That's not good for our economy. Let's just be realistic about that. The Green Party policy is a little more ambitious than this. Actually, this amendment doesn't ban all foreign buyers at all. It just requires people buying residential property to be either New Zealand citizens, people who normally live here, or people intending to live here indefinitely. It even allows for people temporarily coming to New Zealand and intending to sell the property when they leave to buy property, and people buying bare land with the intention of building new houses or homes, or buying existing dwellings with the intention of upgrading them into a greater number of dwellings. They're all able, under this SOP, to buy land and property. And so it's actually quite a reasonable approach. And I can't understand why the government wouldn't consider such a reasonable, well-researched proposal that will definitely have an impact on house prices in Auckland and make houses and homes more accessible to New Zealanders who live here and do need a place to stay. The Green Party message is very simple. Our long-standing policy has been to limit sales of property to residents and citizens. And I'm an immigrant. There is nothing xenophobic about saying that you have to have the intention of living here or be a citizen if you're going to buy property, because that keeps the market domestic and accessible for the people who need to live here. It's a simple message. If you want to make New Zealand your home, you are welcome to buy a home here. If you want to become a permanent resident or citizen, you are welcome. If you want to do those things and buy a house, please, absolutely available, right? But if people are going to sit in offices in Sydney or Singapore or San Diego and play games with our property market to make a buck without actually putting in any real investment here in New Zealand, then that's not welcome. And I think most New Zealanders would agree with that. And it's really unfortunate that the government is not willing to debate the issue that they just claim that anyone who raises the issue is racist or xenophobic when it actually has nothing to do with racism or xenophobia or not wanting people to come to New Zealand. It's about protecting homes in New Zealand for those people who do live here and making sure that they are accessible to all people in New Zealand.
I will call Grant Robertson, but before I do so, I just want to indicate to the House that there are more amendments on the table. There were 2 amendments which sought to insert a new Part 7, and I'm ruling that Matira Ture's, who was the first, will be Part 7, and I think Mr Twyford's, who was the other one, will be Part 8. Grant Robertson.
Thank you very much.